Hi friends, Nathu Foundation, founded by architect Udayan Nathu, is an endeavor to rejuvenate art with architecture and to work upon heritage conservation. With such vision, Nathu Foundation chose Mandu Fort as its area of work. It's a new dimension which shall bring people near art, architecture, and heritage, along with recreational activities, thus promoting heritage and cultural tourism.
Well, today we are going to talk about a place which has been heard by many but visited by very few. That place is called it as Budi Mandap. This place is near by Mandavgarh itself. Mandavgarh is more known for its Indo-Islamic architecture, which has taken place in 14th and 15th century. But I am talking much before time. That's why it's named as Budi Mandap. This was the place which has been developed at the time of Rashtrakutas and their feudators by Parmanas. It is having a pure evidences of Visara architecture, the Hindu temples ruins in this region. This is a isolated hill which is nearby Mandau. We have to track down first. That much portion is motorable. After that, we have to track by foot. We have to cross across the forestry and reach to this place, which is called it as a Budimando. There, what you see is ruins of Hindu temples and a man-made lake with ghats. It's a divine place, I say. Let us have some glimpse of those, the photographs which has been taken by us. The journey from Mandav to Nalcha and then up to Kankalpura is motorable. The journey is pleasant, farmlands around and bubble trees on edge of the road. The people passing by are local tribes. What we call them as Bhils. They are eco warriors. They are happy people. Now little rocky terrain starts and we have to go off-road. Driving nearly on 6 kilometers, we have to drop our SUVs down. The journey is on foot now. Track is scenic. There is a chasm on both sides. Locally they call chasm as Khoh. It's a deep crack with nearly a vertical of 300 meters. That's a typical geographical element present in southern side of Vindhyachal range. It's deep down there. In monsoon, we can see many waterfalls here. But for jungle trekking, winters are better. This is a typical Sagwan jungle, rich in wildlife. My tribal friend is explaining us that the Chinkara deers litter at one place so that predators can't track them. There are leopards and hyenas here in this forest. Interesting. First sign of human settlement. Dressed stones rubbles. Human settlements are always near water bodies. I can see a lake on top of this hill. That means there must be some construction around. Now we can clearly see the wall. This stone is locally available here. It's a very hard black rock, Deccan trap, what we call. Now we can see the debris of the temple structure, very richly carved. Yeah, it's a complex, I suppose. There are thousands of rebels. Here I can see elements like Urushikar, Chandrika, even the Chaitya arch design. It's a typical element of Bhumija style architecture. This wall carving is on basalt stone. It's a pretty hard rock. Beautiful carving. I can see the deities Ganesh, Narsingh, even the Kam Sutra style. So the history goes right back to the 5th century. But is it Mandap Durga? Was this Mandap which we are talking of? Or we are talking about Budi Mandap? Second, again, if you look at the Lalat, which clearly talks about Mandav, naming it as Mandapika, telling that in middle of 9th century, Gurjar Pratiharas were ruling this area. So Gurjar Pratiharas, again, a good rulers with lot of architecture in their background. If we talk about the 6th century Valkas, Valkas has created Bagh caves. They had given a, absolutely a new dimension to an architecture in this region. Are they having an influence even at Budi Mandav? That goes to the 6th century. So whether it is 5th, whether it is 6th, whether it is 9th, when the civilization started there. In 1010, when the Raja Bhoj, who conquered this entire region and done lot of construction, the very second mystery of Raja Bhoj, still it is in deep in many people's heart, that why the temple at Bhojpur was not being completed. It is having the biggest lingam in the world. Then, if we talk about Udayaditya, then again we have to find out the evidences whether those statues, whether this uh, epigraphy which is available there, iconography which is available there, whether we can relate anything from architectural planning site or the type of sculptures which are there, the type of architecture which has been used there, then still lot to be explored. Why there were so big ghats which are present there at the top, at the lake? That itself clearly tells that there was a big population which was visiting this place. Otherwise, there was no need to make such a big ghats at the lake itself. Then the evidences of wall, and that wall also with gates, suggests you something. And why? Still the mystery remains that why it has not been mentioned in any epigraphy available of the Parmara time. Not even at the time of provincial period. If we talk about Jahangir Nama, no evidences. If we talk about Nemat Nama, no evidences. When the Bodhi Mandav was so near to the Mandavgarh itself, why even not in provincial time? It was totally an unknown place. So one theory says that it was a deep hidden place inside, which you find it in Dravidian history also, even in Puranas, that they used to call it as a Shakti Sthal. The emperors used to have a place where they used to worship their goddesses. Was it the complex designed for that? Then why there are multiple buildings which are showing a clear evidences of Hindu temples? What about the well dressed constructed wall? But why no evidences? Lot of mysteries, lot of rocks still to be turned. Then only we will come to know about all these things.
We have been trying to discover the riches lying underneath the rubbles of Bodimandu and surrounding areas. In following episodes, we shall take you further on this most exciting journey of ancient Hindu architecture. Please like, share, and subscribe our channel. Thank you.